What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we talked about this almost 2 weeks ago when it was finally confirmed. So let's take a step back. We knew Ryan Coogler was going to be at some point involved in an X-Files reboot. We knew that about 2 years ago. And then we fast forward 2 years, here we are. And with the recent release of his film, Sinners with Michael B. Jordan, almost 3 weeks ago, he's now got that behind him, and now he's recently come out and said the next thing on his docket, the next thing on his list of projects to work on is the X-Files reboot. Now we covered that roughly almost 2 weeks ago, gave our thoughts on it, gave our opinions on it, and here we are 2 weeks later. And before we get into this one, we didn't know at the time if any original characters were going to be coming back, and Gillian Anderson has made it very clear in past years, hey, I'm done. I've moved on. I'm not returning, so on and so forth, right? So this was going to be, the thought was that this reboot was going to be with new characters, and it was supposed to be more of a scary horror type take on the X-Files. That was going to be the approach, if I remember that article correctly. Here we are now 2 weeks later, and now we have this. The X-Files reboot, Gillian Anderson confirms that she has spoken with Ryan Coogler. So we're going to take a look at this article, and I did find I had the interview from where one of these quotes was mentioned that she recently did. So we're going to watch the video so you guys can hear it for yourself, coming right from her, versus seeing it in the article, just in case there's any context lost. Okay, so we're going to pull that up. It's not that long, so we will watch that at the end of this. So as you see here, 2 years ago. So yeah, I was right. It was roughly 2 years ago. The X-Files creator Chris Carr spilled the beans during an interview on the show On the Coast, revealing that a reboot of the X-Files was in the works with Ryan Coogler at the helm. A couple of weeks ago, Coogler confirmed. This is the article that we covered. This couple of weeks ago article. This is what I was talking about. That's the video that we did here on the channel. I think it was on April 20th, give or take. So go check that out. But this is the one I was mentioning. I'm working on the X-Files. That's what's immediately next. I've been excited about this one for a long time, and I'm fired up to get back to it. And that, some of those episodes, if we do our jobs right, will be really blank and scary. Coogler has also said that he has spoken with Gillian Anderson, who starred in the original series as Agent Dana Scully, about the project. Quote, "She's incredible, and fingers crossed there. When I spoke to her, she was finishing Tron Arias up. But yeah, we're going to try and make something really great and really be something for the real X-File fans. You know what I'm saying. And maybe find some new ones." Now, during an interview on ITV1's this morning, Anderson confirmed there has been a conversation with Coogler. That's the interview I'm talking about. So we're going to jump to that here in a second. I want to go back to this statement of this quote up above, where Coogler was saying, and really be something for real X-Files fans. I'm going to be very clear. It has been a long time since I've seen any X-Files content, and it was that show came. I'm a product of the 80s and 90s, so this show was coming out when in my time. And it just wasn't one of those shows I gravitated towards then, and I haven't really gone back to visit. However, the X-Files has a massive following, a massive cult following. And I can tell you right now, when I did that video a couple weeks ago, the vast majority of people do not want to see this. They do not want to see the X-Files touched for a reboot in any way, shape, or form. Reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. Some people were saying, hey, whether they do a prequel or a spinoff, but don't do a remake or a reboot of the original series. Leave the original alone. Do something new. Do something different. But just don't do that. That was the probably the consensus amongst everyone in the comment section, which, side note, I appreciate everyone jumping into the comment section on that one, because again, I know the X-Files is just one of those shows that people just don't want to see messed with. And my position was, again, at the time, the article was mentioning that Coogler wants to take a scarier, more horror version. Now, that would be interesting to me, just because, this is a horror channel. We love horror content, whether it's movies or TV series, things of that nature. However, I do also at the same time respect the fact that I don't like it when my beloved franchises or films or whatever get rebooted or remaked just because Hollywood has run out of ideas and Hollywood can't seem to come up with anything new. So let's just go back to something that was very popular and still is very popular, like the X-Files, and let's just reboot it. And let's just hope that, as this quote mentions, really be something for the real X-File fans, and you know what I'm saying, and maybe find some new ones. I'm telling you, the real X-File hardcore fans don't want this. The vast majority don't want this. Yeah, you may find some new ones who may not have been born when the original series and films came out, because I know they did 2 films, and if I remember correctly, they did 2 spin-off series of the original X-Files series, and then did 2 films. I know they did 2 films, but I could swear they also did 2 spin-off series, if I remember correctly. Those are fine. Leave them alone. If you want to continue something, continue it, but you don't need to reboot it. That's where you lose me. And again, I don't like it when some of my favorite things get reboots, remakes. Leave them alone, because in my opinion, a good 9 times out of 10, they're never as good as the original, and you're never going to get out of your way of your work being compared to the original, especially when it comes to something like the X-Files. This gets put out, I guarantee you, I think the hardcore fans will still watch it. I think they're going to go watch this to see what it is about, what it's like, and then it's going to be, as they're watching it, immediately comparing it to the original series. And it's going to come out really quick, whether or not this is going to be any better than the original. And if it's worse, believe me, you're going to hear about it from the hardcore fans. So let's move on real quickly here. A few years ago, Anderson had very little interest in. So this is what I was mentioning before, where Anderson had come out years ago and said she didn't want to do it. This is what this quote is. She had told Variety, "The X-Files just feels like such an old idea. I've done it. I did it for so many years, and it's also ended on such an unfortunate note." Scully's pregnancy reveal. In order to even begin to have that conversation about another season, there would need to be a whole new set of writers, and the baton would need to be handed on for it to feel like it was new and progressive. So yeah, it's very much in the past. Then now we go to last year. So this would have been 2 years after she made this quote. It sounded like Coogler's involvement had her intrigued. So now she says, now Ryan Coogler, who's the director of Black Panther, brilliant director, has approached Chris Carr to say that he wants to do a take on it, and I cannot think of a better way around for a reboot to happen. Whether I am involved in it is a whole other thing, and I'm not saying no. I think he's really cool, and I think if he did it, it would probably be done incredibly well. And maybe I'll pop in for a little something. Now, this brings us to current day. Now, this next bit is the interview that she just recently gave on this morning show. So we're going to skip past it because we're going to watch the interview. So this is the interview right down here on this morning show that she gave. I already have it queued up, so we're going to jump over to it right now. And we're going to hear what she was asked and how she responded to the question.
Can I ask you an X-Files question?
Oh, no. I was
Go
listening to the last podcast on the left, and the director, Ryan Coogler...
He's like, oh, no,
I got very excited about this, because he's talked about it, saying that they're very excited. They're going to do the reboot, and they have spoken to Gillian about coming back in some capacity. Have you spoken to them? Might you be involved?
I spoke to him, and what I said was, if anyone were to do it, I think you're the perfect person, and... Best of luck. Best of luck.
But he was talking to you about...
Call me, yes, but, you know, at some point, if the phone rings and it's good, and it feels like the right time, perhaps. That's what I said. But he's amazing.
That's enough for us.
He's amazing.
Isn't it? That's enough for us.
Gillian's in. Gillian is in. That's what I read.
Oh, boy. This is all that's going to be written about. It's all anybody's going to talk about. They're going to forget about the lovely film.
No, they have to see the lovely film too. They have to see it because, as you said in the movie, he's your home. So they have to watch them.
Okay, so that was the end of it because they moved on back to the original topic of a more recent movie, Julian. It was based on a true story, and the character she plays, the person she plays, was the lady sitting next to her, and it was a story about this lady and her husband before he had passed. So the reason I wanted to play that, because I wanted everyone to see as far as her reaction when asked the question. I think when you see her body language and how she reacted to saying, oh yeah, I told him, perhaps, I think one, she wasn't expecting to be asked that question. She was probably just really wanting to focus on the film that she was there to talk about, which I don't know I don't see that the description of the video mentions the film that they were talking about. Let's see here, The Salt Path. I think that's what they were. Yeah, it's called The Salt Path. So that's what she was there to talk about, was that film, and again the role she was playing, which was the lady sitting next to her. But when you see her body language, when asked that question, you can see it was very almost kind of awkward. Like, she didn't want to answer the question, but now she's realized she's being forced to. And the way it was very much like a political response. Like, yes, he'll do great. Yes, I'm happy that he's going to be doing it. And I told him best. I mean, she said best of luck like 3 or 4 times. And then she said, if it feels right, if this, and that, call me. I think he'll call her, but I think she'll turn it down. And we won't find out about that until well after the fact of the series even airing, that she was asked to come back and play a role. Now, if she does, it will be like anything else we see. It'll be a guest star appearance, probably in episode 2 or 3, when whoever the new agents or leads are for the series will get stuck, will somehow link back to a story or something, or a case that she worked, and they track her down in this cabin in the middle of the woods, and they ask her for her help, and she gives some pointers, she gives some information, and then that's the most we'll see of her. That'll be it. So I have zero hope that she'll return. I don't think she's going to return. Again, I think that was just a polite way for her to say congrats to Ryan and those who will be involved. But yeah, I'm still done with this. I don't think there's any story that could come up that she's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm getting right back into the X-Files. So anyways, that's going to do it for this horror news update on the X-Files reboot. What Gillian Anderson thinks, whether or not she will or will not return. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the latest for this. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.